Hey creepy critters, I am back on the subreddit to vent. Unlike my previous posts in which was if I was an asshole for thinking or doing something to someone who showed entitled behavior, I have a guy to talk about and I also want to ask advice. I started my fall semester months ago and will go to winter break soon in a week. I'm having so much fun minus that one guy who creeped on me with taking pictures without my permission and the victim blaming girl, who I want to step and say she bought me McDonald's randomly and skipping classes. I guess she's trying to bribe me back to friendship. On the first week of fall break I met a guy who we'll call Philip. Philip is similar to Humphrey for being a bit lower on the autism spectrum but is a bit higher than Humphrey. Has a guy who obviously loved Disney and superheroes and a bunch of other things I to enjoy, but that's not the main focus. After the second day he started showing hints he may be attracted to me. Now, this isn't me tooting a horn, I find myself rather unattractive and not dateable and don't care. But I pick up in the signs fast due to high school when a dude creeped on me in P. He began to ask me questions a lot and started making promises to make me happy. Examples: I grew up liking Ever After High, which was a doll book show series by the makers of Monster High and maybe Barbie, mostly cause of the character designs, and I'm a sucker for fairy tale meets modern world. He asked if I'm familiar with it. I said yes. He asked who my favorite Disney villain was and I answered Maleficent. First thing he said was, well, good for you cause she's my mum. Since then I also picked up he has a habit of mixing imagination to reality and being a huge pathological liar. His lies are either simple like he meets Maleficent and Godzilla every day, like one of a child, then lies that are obviously lies but will be hard to swallow, like when he told a classmate he met a favorite actor of his and the classmate believed it and was getting promises to meet said actor. He gives me promises and lies that would please me, like he'd take me to Japan, had let me meet actors, and even said obvious lies to seem like we have stuff in common. One time he claimed he was an anime fan like me but would talk non-stop of Naruto. I mentioned other animes like My Hero, Attack on Titan, etc. Basically big anime names even beginners knew due to how popular they are. He just stared at me and had no idea and then proceed talking about Naruto. Another lie he does, he claim his dad is a teacher who's also a doctor. My dad's a teacher and my uncle is a doctor in training, so I knew it was bullshit. I guessed I should have noticed some red flags as we were at an event once, and due to the demon that curses those with a uterus has plagued me. I tend to have worst pains since I could remember, depression due to gender dysphoria. I was being overstimulated by so much social interactions, and anxiety was kicking in. I sat on the floor away from everyone just trying not to cry. Philip was by the table trying to talk to me despite it was obvious I wasn't in the right mindset to talk. I ran into an old friend while there and chit-chatted a bit, in which Philip appeared. Old friend jumped back looking scared shitless, which made me worried. They pulled me to the side and warned me that Philip used to harass her at their old program, and I just told them I know and have kept my distance from him. I even heard them yelling at Philip to leave them alone and stop telling everyone I'm your girlfriend, I'm not even your friend. When the day was closing, Philip came up to me and began to ask me to tell old friend that I'm not that mean of a person. They act like I'm the worst person ever. I informed him I don't have their number and he proceeded to try and convince me as a good guy. Since then I've kept a distance from him but remained polite to not cause drama. I'm not starting. On my birthday he gave me a obvious store-bought fudge, sticker was still on, and told me he made it by hand and even joked he put a love potion in it. Now I've been practicing Wicca for a bit. He knows this, and I find love potions or hexes so disgusting, so I told him just that. He backtracked and told me he meant he cooked it with love. Then he started telling me how he has this ex-girlfriend who apparently slapped him and cursed his family and whatnot, which I don't fully buy, to be honest. Oh yeah, that's another thing he does. He likes to loudly tell anyone a sad thing in his life to gain sympathy. Before fall break we were doing 3 weeks of a very important assignment. Philip wasn't the cause, as he claimed. His mum was sick, which also ruined a planned outing we had that wasn't refundable due to us not having a ride, as mentioned in the previous posts. Anyway, on the very last day before fall break Philip returned and loudly proclaimed he went to Hawaii for 2 weeks. If he went to vacation it would be fine cause it's not like any points would be doxed from his grades, so I have no idea why I had lied about his mum being sick when in reality he could be honest and talk about going to Hawaii. Everyone's working on their last bit of their assignments and he had to start and finish within the next 3 hours of class. First he tried telling the teacher all his pictures were deleted somehow, that someone broke in and hacked his hard drive, which is only safe at school, and whipped everything for some unknown reason. The teacher just ended up saying, then I guess you can't do the assignment. Yeah, I'd assume Philip would now sit in silence as others are working. Yeah, he, as I mentioned, began loudly talking about how his life sucks cause his grandma died from COVID, his ex-girlfriend cursed his family, I assume again, and his pictures are all missing cause of a hacker. While this was going down, his sniffling and coughing and teacher gave him a mask. This dude is a fucking anti-masker. He talked about he doesn't need masks and has fine and they make him uncomfortable. Bitch, you just said your grandma died from COVID and you're being an anti-masker right now. After 3 minutes of no response, he suddenly found all his pictures just fine and did his assignment. He does this to more times onto other assignments, which was last week and this week. Last week we were editing and on the first day of the assignment he started acting like he was having a migraine. I used to have migraine. I have friends who have many types of migraines. I can easily tell a fake migraine when I see it. It doesn't help he was loudly going, "Oh, I'm having a migraine, I better go home now." I freaking left the class. The time he did it this week was the Thursday of last week when we started on our new assignment, which was a shadow box 3D box in which you get a picture, cut out 3 parts of the picture and it makes a 3D style object of art. Philip was for some reasoning not getting through with the last rule. During the assignment I saw he photoshopped a picture to have no people in it and then proceed to drag his feet still through the week. Now we're getting to the part of the title and it'll say one more thing. I'm non-binary. I use she they pronouns and tend to like wearing makeup or skirts. I have plans to get a repression bra for the days my dysphoria attack my chest and want to surgically remove my uterus since I don't desire or need it. I also don't use female titles. I use terms like child, sibling, lord, and queen on very terms of someone calling me something. So yesterday he came to school super late. Now I'm sad for a lot of things. One of them being I had to put my dog of 14 years down on Monday and was heartbroken. Philip came in, asked me if I was okay and I just explained I lost my dog. His response not missing a beat, "Oh that sucks but it'll be in Moulin Rouge on the bright side." I just nodded and congratulated him, but seriously dude, was that the right timing? That same day he called me his lady friend. I politely and kind of jokingly responded I'm not a lady but more a lord. I then politely explained what non-binary is and explained my pronouns and title so it wouldn't lead to anything bad. I was working, minding my own beeswax, when Philip just came over showing off his Santa Claus he knows shirt. I just stared at him and go, "Yeah, I'm sure he would." He started to walk away while mumbling how he knows I'm obviously woman. Me, maybe, but does that change anything how I feel? Philip began to try and get a response but ended saying, "Well, I know you're actually female." I'm tearing up at this point cause what the actual fuck does he know or have the right to tell me my gender after years of war of my identity, and just shouted that I wasn't female. The teacher calmed me down and stopped the argument, but I'm still so confused.